Hey Neo, I want to try to answer your 3 questions, but I'm going to do them one at a time, I think. Just keep things clean. And I'll start with question number 3, which is something to the effect of, what evidence or arguments or types of evidence would make you change your mind about your beliefs? Well, I want to start by saying, I referenced a couple of my videos. I was saying I hope you get a chance to look at the question and the answer, but in case you didn't, or for somebody else watching this video who hasn't seen them, I simply assert in those videos that nobody chooses what they believe. So in that respect, I don't think anything is going to make you change your belief. Like that's something you don't want to do, but the evidence is so strong that you're like, I have to change what I believe. I don't think that's how it works. The way I think it works is, at least at this stage in my life, and the more mature we are, we realize what we believe, and we realize when our beliefs change, or sometimes we realize that our beliefs have changed. I think you know, if you're honest, you sometimes realize that you don't believe something as strongly as you thought you did, or you don't believe things are exactly as you professed to believe them. Certainly when your actions aren't lining up with your professed or understood beliefs, I think it should cause you to rethink and to certainly at least look for an explanation why your actions didn't seem to match up. With that said, then, I think the question, for me at least, I would assert the question that I'm trying to answer as realistically as I can is, what do you think it would take to change your beliefs? And there's a couple of things I want to go there, but I'll go with what I know. Checking my notes here. What I know is nobody's beliefs are going to change without some new new input, new consideration, and that's a key too. Depending on how willing a person is to honestly listen and to consider the input and reconsider a belief or a position. Those things need to be there in some degree, I believe, for change to happen. So we can only guess what it would take to change. Now I'll say this: for me, I have concluded that experience has the most sway on what I believe, and that's not to say nothing else matters, but I was trying to think of examples, and for example, if I'm introduced to someone and I've heard people speaking of them highly, good person, good character, but then that person does something screws me, I know that experience will cause me to believe that no matter how many people have spoken highly of them and have a high opinion of them, I'll believe that they're wrong, that somehow this person has given that impression, but in fact he's, whatever, he's a scumbag or dirtball or whatever it is, because that single experience. If a guy did something, blindsided me badly enough, showed a complete lack of character or principle, I'm going to go with the experience over anything else. And that brings politicians to mind, because I happen to think most politicians are scumbags. So let's say, because this has happened, I meet a politician. If I was to meet one tomorrow, he introduces himself, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I'm running for this office, and he makes his case. I'm a good guy, I'm a principled man, I have good character, I stand for what I believe, you can count on me, I'm not going to be impressed, and we'll call it prejudice because that's what it is. It's not going to change my prejudice or my belief that most politicians are they're just lowlifes, power brokers or whatever. They're motivated by something that I wouldn't respect, admire, or want to put into office. Now let's talk about evidence. Let's say this guy's been in office a long time and has a great voting record, and people bring it to my attention, or I research it, and there it is. This guy votes the way he says. Doesn't matter to me, because I understand that people get elected by making promises and then stay in office and get reelected by voting consistently a certain way. And it can have nothing to do with their principle, their character, what they believe. It can have simply to do with that's the group of people that they're buying off. That's the group of people that they need to support them so that they can enjoy the other things that are happening and the other reasons that they're in office. So sometimes evidence, you can have a pretty strong case about a politician, and I probably will remain skeptical until I've got enough experience with the person to have any kind of trust for my belief to change, so that I would tell someone I think he's a good guy. So there's a couple of examples. So last point I would want to make, I think, I shot this video once before and I sound like I was contradicting myself. I think I got it fixed here. I think beliefs change, my beliefs in particular, change often, but not drastically. I think they change more positionally. There's so much that I don't know if I'm open on, but so many of my beliefs are not key, or I don't know how to explain it, but you know, I can experience small changes with relatively, you know, small amount of input or evidence or experience. But the more drastic the change that we might be talking about, then obviously I think that it would require much more in the way of experience and evidence for me to change it. Excuse me. For example, you know, I've always, for as long as I can remember, I've always believed that there's a God in the sense of a creative intellect, and you know, humans and anything we would call creation is just that. I can't think, you know, if there's anything available, anything that could happen that could cause me to completely change, become an atheist, and just think I was wrong. There's no kind of intelligent life behind, you know, the things that I see. But my understanding of God, my faith, those kind of things, they do change. They have changed, and I would be surprised if they don't change. And it would be probably based on experience. And I can say, and also, I'm never comfortable when my faith or my intuitive position conflicts with science. If it conflicts with the laws of physics, then I usually I got to look into that. That's where I've had the most changes that I've had. And then otherwise, it just comes from consideration and reconsideration, and often just bouncing ideas off of people who believe in a God but don't believe like I do. But that would be question number 2, I think, 1 or 2. So anyway, that's my answer to number 3, Neo. I'd like to hear back. See ya.